Hello everyone. The visually impaired community has recently started conquering the realm of video material on YouTube for themselves, which means that they upload more and more videos to this platform without being able to see something. And part of this is because we know how to add text and chroma key effects to our videos. And in the case that you don't know how to do this yet, this video will show you everything you need to know in order to add titles and text to your videos and remove your background and replace it with some other video, which will allow your videos to look much more professional than before. And the great news, you don't need to see anything to follow these steps. And here is how you do it. All of this is possible within REAPER. Let me say that you're better having site assistance for at least checking your setup once, because every step is easy to follow even without seeing anything, but you can always only be sure that everything's working fine if you actually have a sighted person check on your video. There might be hiccups here and there, you might forget one little thing and everything might be ruined, but you can create track or project templates to simplify your process later on. So if you know how to do things and you've got quite a workflow going, then sighted assistance won't be needed anymore. So the most easiest thing to do is add some text to your video. For example, if you don't have a video at all, you can just show some text on screen, which I do in some of my videos, or you could add this on top of some other video, like have a video running in the background and show some text in the foreground. What do we need? We need a track, obviously.
One video.
I've got a track here already, which is called video. And I could also call this overlay because we are working with overlays most of the time. What do overlays do in REAPER? Well, there are two kinds of overlays. We will use both of them today. There's a text overlay and there's an image overlay. And overlays have the functionality that as soon as you've got an overlay, this video will show on top of another video track that comes just below the one that you're showing right now. So in order to understand this, you need to know the way REAPER processes video. REAPER will always just show one video track. If you've got a video track with one video item loaded, then that is what REAPER will show. If you've got a second track just below that one with video on it, then REAPER will not automatically kind of magically mix those videos together and render it out. No, REAPER will always just pick the first video track and show that one. And if that track is black, REAPER doesn't care, it will just show that, and that's it. The overlay, however, will automatically show and also include a second video track, the next video track it finds. That's how the overlay works. And we will need one specific overlay here, which is the text overlay. Now, let me say this. You can work with video plugins in REAPER in two different ways. I'd rather call unsafe and a safe way. Both of them have their pros and cons, right? You can work by putting them onto tracks and you can work by putting them onto items. Putting them onto tracks will not do anything to the project unless you also have items. The plugin will only work where an item is currently located. This has obviously some pros. You can configure your track to have all the proper plugins configured, and then you can create empty items from one position to another, and the effect will only be shown while the item is active. As soon as the item stops or ends, the effect will be gone. If you, however, have dedicated items to work on, because you have, for example, some video material that is already there because you recorded it in, for example, OBS, which is what I do most of the time, then you can work by putting those effects directly onto the item, which will work just fine, even without any plugin on the items. I will work by putting the effects on the track today, because this is really easy to do if you, for example, just want to show some text while everything else stays black. If you have an item which is just an audio track, for example, and you want to show some text which just says, this is just audio, there's no video here, there will also be no video in 5 minutes, and something like that, then doing it that way is really, really easy. I've got a track here.
One video.
Now, what do I do to create my text on screen? This is kind of a tricky thing, so let me walk you through step by step. First, we press F on the track to open the FX menu.
Add FX to track 1 video dialog filter. Combo box collapsed. Edit blank.
Let's search for video
VRDEO.
and check out the search results.
List 1 list.
Here we go.
Video processor 1 of 2.
And that is what we need. The video processor by Cocos. Let's hit enter on that.
FX. Track 1 video. List 1 list. Video processor 1 of 1.
Great. Now let's shift tab a few times.
Remove button. Add button. Preset menu button. Combo box. Customized processor. Collapsed.
Great. So here's a tricky thing about this combo box. We've already told Cocos that they need to improve accessibility for that combo box, but this combo box is special as it doesn't allow you to navigate with the up and down arrow keys by default. You can either press a letter, in this case O. Let's press O, for example.
O overlay. Image overlay.
Great. And now we can do up and down arrows.
Overlay. Text / timecode.
That's what we want. Or you can press with NVDA Alt and down arrow, which will semi-open the combo box. Just press enter on the item that you want to select. Now that we've selected overlay text / timecode, we press F6. And this is going to be kind of a lot of text that it's going to read out.
/text / timecode overlay number text equals / set a string to over-different equals.
Yeah, I will interrupt this here. Now, this is an inaccessible input box where a lot of text is written. Because this thing is inaccessible, we are better off copying this out to a dedicated notepad window. So I would do that. We can freely use the typical editor notepad kind of commands. Control A to select all, Control C to copy to keyboard. Now we open a second notepad window. Let me do this real quick. Here we go. I'm in a notepad window and I press Control V to paste my text. And because I'm at the very bottom line, I would go to the top line.
// text / timecode overlay.
Here we go. And now the second line is the important line.
Number text equals / set a string to override.
So this line looks number text equals 2 quotes and a semicolon. And you need to put your text here. So you need to write the text that you want to show on screen between the quotes. Let me navigate character by character.
T equals quote.
Here. This is the first quote, that we need to select the second one.
Quote.
And now we can write text. For example, we can write
T-A-R-S space R-S space A space T-E-S-E dot.
Now let's read this line again.
/ number text equals this is a test. / set a string to override.
That's great. So you can put whatever kind of text you want here. I've been told that you can even put line breaks here. So you can, for example, write this text, then hit enter, write some other text. As long as you close the second quote at some point, this should be fine. If you want to show a quote on screen, then you can just escape it with the / key. So we'd write, this is a quote, and then you'd write / quote. That will make sure that the quote won't close the text, and the regular quote at the very end will close the string just as it's meant to be. As soon as you wrote all your text in here, it can really be kind of a lot of text. You copy all of this again, Control A,
1538 character selected,
Control-C, and go back to the Reaper window.
unsaved FX, track 1 video / text / timecode overlay num.
Great. So what do we do now? We remove all of the text in here, Control-A and Delete key, and we paste the text that we just edited, Control-V. And we save by pressing Control-S. That will make sure that our text is now within this editor window, and it's saved, so it will show on screen. Let me add that within this file that we just copied out and opened in Notepad, there are some other parameters in there. There's like the background color of the text. There's the text color in there. There's a lot of stuff in there. Stuff that I won't go through. If you're interested in that, however, then check out the Reaper manual. Everything is written in there. It's kind of a cryptic thing, especially the text that's written there, a lot of variable names and stuff, but it's all laid out there, and you find a lot of information on the Reaper forums. So if you're interested, go there or ask a question in the comment section below the video, because I will make sure to help you every step on your way. Now that we've configured the overlay, if we show this to a sighted person, they won't see anything. And this is because we don't have an item yet, right? So we need to get out of this window to create one. And there's a little trick to this. This window doesn't allow us to press escape and all the typical things that we need to do to get out of the FX window usually, because we're in an editor and this one traps our keyboard commands. But there's an easy trick. We can press the context menu key,
menu,
and press up arrow once.
Close FX window.
Close FX window, right? We just hit that.
Unsaved project.
And we are out of the window. Now, in order to have the overlay shown on screen, we need to create an empty item. In my case, because I put everything on a track. If you already have an item, doesn't matter if it's a video one or an audio one or whatever, and you want to show stuff on screen while this item is running, then add the video processor overlay text/timecode thing to the item by pressing Ctrl F while selecting the item. Now, we create an item by going to the beginning of the project and starting a time selection.
Set selection start.
And then we go to the end of the moment where you want to text on screen.
Bar 6.
I'd say bar 6, so it's showing for 5 bars. Let's end the time selection here.
Set selection end.
Now you can go to the insert menu.
Media file, EINFGM.
And we can.
New MIDI item shift plus EINFG empty item E.
Empty item.
Unsaved project.
And now,
1 bar 1.
That the empty items here, our text will be shown on screen. Now, as I've said before, keep in mind that if you have a second track with video data in your project, that data will be shown in addition to the overlay. So make sure to mute it or whatever while our overlay is shown. Otherwise, the overlay will be shown on top of this video, which might not be exactly what you want. Just keep that in mind. Now, there are some things that we can change here. Let's select the track.
1 video, 1 item.
And press P to open the parameters list.
FX parameters dialog 21.1% parameter. Combo box text height 0. Collapse alt plus P.
So here's some things that we can go through which might be interesting. Text height is actually pretty obvious, right?
Value. Slider 21.1%.
So it's set to 21%. The larger the percentage, the larger the text height, obviously.
Y position 1.
The Y position is the top to bottom position of the text on the screen.
Value. Slider 95.0%.
By default, it's 95%, so it's pretty much at the bottom of the screen. So we can just change this to a low value and we'll move up on the screen to the top.
X position 2.
The X position is from left to right.
Value. Slider 50.0%.
It's set to 50, so it's right in the middle of the image.
Fit BG to text 8.
Fit BG to text, however, is an interesting one.
Value. Slider 0.0%.
By default, it's off.
100.0%.
I'd recommend you to set it to on and let sighted people check if it's doing what you want it to do. So here is what it does if you don't enable it. By default, the box where the text is shown is configured to have a specific width and height. And if your text doesn't fit in there, then the box will be padded with a lot of background color. If you have just a bit of text and the box is actually kind of large, then you've got a lot of colored box on the screen with just a tiny bit of text in the middle, which is usually not what you want. What you want is probably a box that just fits to the text that you put into it, right? So enable that, set it to 100%, and the box will automatically fit to the text that you just wrote into the notepad window and copied back into the overlay. As I said, if you're wondering how it looks, always ask a sighted person. So that is all we need to cover in here. Let's escape out.
Unsaved.
And that is how you add text or title or whatever kind of texty thing to your videos. Here's how you put a video into the background of your currently running video, and how you can use the chroma-key feature to replace, for example, a blue or green screen with a video of your choice. The technique is the same. We are putting an overlay over a different video. but there's a little stick to it. First, we need to create a track, which I already did again.
One video, one item.
We call it video, and it's still got the item from before, which is 5 bars in length. And we create a different video processor FX. Press F.
Add FX to track one video dialog filter. List one list. Video processor not selected 1 of 2.
Select that and edit.
FX.
And press Shift Tab.
Remove add grease combo box.
Here we go. And we again say O.
Oh, overlay. Image overlay.
Great. So we've got an image overlay. That's awesome. That's what we want. We don't need to do anything with F6 this time. So we escape right out of it.
Unsaved project.
So what does this do? This does that the video shown on this track will automatically be put over the second video track in this project. They will be shown at the same time. The first one will overlay the second one. This means that we can already show 2 video tracks while the first one is overlaying the second one. The first one will therefore be a foreground, which means that I will just rename it.
Track name. F selection O E G O U N D 1 foreground volume 0.00 pane.
Great. And now we, for demonstrative purposes, create a second one, which we call background.
Track name. B A C H E O U N D 0.02 background.
Great. Awesome. That's what we want. Imagine a video to be on this background track.
One foreground, one item.
And a video to be in this foreground track. Now, we made sure that both of them will be shown, while the foreground will be in foreground and the background will be in the background. Press P on the foreground track.
FX parameters dialog 100.0% parameter. Combo box opacity 0. Collapse alt plus P.
So here is the parameters list for the image overlay. There are some parameters that are not especially important to us. For example, the opacity and stuff.
Zoom 1.
But we want the zoom. Here's
value. Slider 50.0%.
Currently set to 50. If you want to make your foreground window, so you talking, for example, larger, then increase the zoom. If you want yourself to be smaller because your image is already big, then lower the zoom. This is something that you usually cannot match with a blind person, right? You would need side tab to check if everything is looking correct. This is really important if you have 2 videos which are filmed in 2 separate situations. They don't match in size, and you probably need to either shrink the image or you need to maximize you so that both of them look actually kind of well together, right? This is something that you'd need sighted help for. You'd get the feeling of it, but you'd need to do this at least once with sighted help. If you aren't sure, however, stay with the default 50%, which will keep the zoom just like the original recording. So there are 2 different parameters here.
X offset 2, Y offset 3.
X and Y offset.
Value. Slider 50.0%.
By default, both of them are set to use 50%, which means that the image will stay in the middle of the screen. If you want to move that to whatever on the screen, then just change this. Remember, the higher the Y position, the closer to the bottom of the screen it will get. The higher the X coordinate, the closer to the right edge of the screen you will move. Everything else in here is irrelevant. But there's one last thing we need to do in order to have the chroma-key feature enabled, which just means that the background gets removed. As long as you have filmed yourself foreground in front of a green screen or blue screen, the chroma-key feature allows you to get rid of that screen in your background, which will really make you look like you're actually talking while standing in front of a forest or a mountain or whatever. You won't see the green screen or the blue screen in your background anymore, which will allow you to put whatever you want to stand in front into your background. If you don't put the chroma key feature on there, then you will look at a picture where you are standing in front of a green screen and in the background you will see the mountain, which is not exactly what you want, because you can see the green screen. Everyone knows, he's just forgotten to enable the chroma key feature. So here's how you do it. You press F again.
FX, track 1 foreground.
Now we want to add something, right? We press A.
Add FX to track.
And we have videos still selected, so we go.
List 1 list, video processor not selected 1 of 2.
And we've got videos still selected, so we select that again.
Space selected. FX.
And we press Shift Tab a few times.
Remove add grease combo box.
Now we need the combined chroma key feature, so we press C.
C combine. 2x2 input matrix.
Nope.
Combine. Chroma-key. RGB version.
That's what we want. Now, you'd think that everything's done, right? But it isn't. In the case that you're actually filming in front of a blue screen, you'd be wondering, well, how do I decide which one I want to remove, a green or blue screen? And this is changed by pressing P.
Context menu.
And going down to chroma-key.
1 of 2 chroma-key. RGB version. Video processor 2.
Great, select that.
FX parameters dialog 0.0% parameter. Combo box 0 equals green, 1 equals blue, 0, collapsed alt plus P.
0 equals green, 1 equals blue. And by default it's
value, slider 0.0%.
0. So by default it will remove everything that is green in your background. And if you change that to
100.0%,
which is 100, it will be blue. That's getting filtered out of your background. So if the chroma key effect is instantiated, then everything either green or blue will be filtered out of your background. And thanks to the overlay, everything on the second track will be shown in the background. So you can make yourself talk in front of a crowd, you can make yourself talk in front of a lion, or you could make the lion talk in front of yourself if you mess the fore and background up in some way. So keep that in mind, that you always need a foreground and a background track. I prefer to name them properly so that it don't get confused. And make sure that not just the naming is important, but also the order in which they appear in the project. So always make the foreground to be the topmost track and the background to be the bottommost video track. Or the audio tracks or MIDI tracks don't matter, only the video tracks count. So you can make them the very topmost tracks in the project, you can make them the very bottommost track in the project. However, they need to be ordered correctly in relation to each other. Now that you know all that, you are ready to go ahead and create some awesome videos for YouTube. Now, there's one thing that I need to mention here. All this was just possible thanks to a colleague from the REAPER community called Suman Bokrai. I'm sorry, man, if I butchered your name. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but thank you for creating your awesome instructions, which I followed to create this video. I will also link his channel in the video description, so if you want to check out his music, then feel free to do so and leave him a like. Follow his channel. He's creating some awesome ethnic Indian kind of style music, and that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you found this video useful, then feel free to like this video, ask questions in the comment box below the video, or anything else that you feel you want to get it off your chest. That includes ideas for next videos. So if you've got any ideas about other stuff that I could create a video on, even for visual stuff, then feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below the video. Thanks for watching, and until next Monday. Bye-bye.